In late January 1959, 10 experienced hikers left the city of Sverdlovsk. They were students and graduates skilled in wilderness survival. Their goal was Otorten Mountain, deep in the Ural range. The trip was rated the highest difficulty for that era. Igor Dyatlov led the group, and it later bore his name. They expected a hard journey, but not an impossible one. Nothing in their planning hinted at what waited ahead. The route crossed some of the most isolated terrain in the Soviet Union. Temperatures could fall below -25 degrees Celsius. One member turned back early due to illness, leaving 9. The remaining hikers pressed on through deepening snow. They kept a group diary, noting weather, mood, and distance. Photographs from their cameras would later become evidence. No one could have guessed those photos would outlive them all. By late January, the group had left the last inhabited village behind. Ahead lay only forest, snow, and the silence of the mountains. They moved slowly, breaking trail through deep snow. Each night, they built a fire and dug shelter into the snowbanks. The diary entries describe fatigue, but also laughter and songs. There was no sign yet of the danger closing in around them. The mountains simply waited, indifferent to their plans. On January 31st, they reached the edge of a highland pass. Weather worsened, and visibility dropped sharply. They decided to make camp on the slope of a mountain later called Koletsayakal. In the local Mansi language, the name means dead mountain. It was not the summit, but a resting point before the final push. That choice would become the last one most of them made. No one recorded exactly why they stopped there instead of lower ground. On the night of February 1st, the group pitched their tent on open slope. It was an unusual decision for experienced hikers to camp there. Some researchers believe they wanted to avoid losing distance the next day. Others think the weather forced a sudden stop. Inside the tent, 9 people settled in for the night. Their skis, boots, and warm clothing remained inside with them. By all evidence, it was an ordinary night in the wilderness. Sometime after nightfall, something happened that no one fully explains. The tent was found later cut open from the inside, not the outside. Footprints in the snow showed the hikers fled without proper clothing. Some were in socks, others barefoot in freezing temperatures. They ran downhill, away from the tent, into the darkness. Whatever forced them out, it overrode their survival training. Trained hikers do not leave shelter undressed unless something feels worse than the cold. The hikers had planned to send a telegram upon their return. When no message arrived by February 12th, concern grew slowly. Families and the university pressed for an official search. By February 20th, search parties and aircraft were deployed. Volunteers, soldiers, and experienced mountaineers joined the effort. The scale of the search reflected how seriously it was taken. No one expected what the search teams would soon uncover. On February 26th, searchers found the abandoned tent on the slope. It was already partly covered by snow and ice. Personal belongings, food, and boots remained untouched inside. Outside, a trail of footprints led down toward the tree line. The footprints simply stopped, as if the hikers had vanished. The search shifted from rescue to a grim recovery mission. What they found next would confuse investigators for decades. Near a large cedar tree at the forest edge, searchers found 2 bodies. Both men were dressed only in thin underclothes, no coats or shoes. The remains of a small fire lay nearby, mostly burned out. Broken branches on the tree suggested someone had climbed it. It appeared they were trying to see the camp or gather firewood. Their hands and feet showed signs of severe frostbite. This was only the beginning of a far larger mystery. A short distance away, 3 more bodies were discovered. Their positions suggested they had been trying to return to the tent. One body was found in a position resembling protective posture. Investigators noted torn and displaced clothing on several victims. Some clothing appeared to have been removed from the dead by the living. This detail suggested a desperate, freezing struggle for survival. For hikers remained missing, buried somewhere beneath the snow. Months later, as the snow began to melt, searchers returned. In a ravine below the cedar tree, they found the last four. These bodies bore the most severe and unexplained injuries. One had major chest fractures, but no external bruising or cuts. Another had a fractured skull, again without visible external wounds. A young woman among them was missing her tongue and eyes. Investigators struggled to explain how these injuries occurred. The force required for such fractures was compared to a car crash. Yet none of the bodies showed marks from an obvious impact. Soviet investigators noted the injuries did not match a fall or animal attack. Some clothing showed elevated radiation levels, never fully explained. The official case file was closed within months, unusually quickly. The cause of death was recorded only as a compelling natural force. That vague ruling left the world asking questions for over 60 years. Soviet authorities restricted access to the area for years afterward. This secrecy fueled decades of speculation and competing theories. Some proposed a secret military weapons test in the region. Others suggested an encounter with local wildlife or intruders. A popular theory pointed to an unusual weather phenomenon. None of these explanations fully matched all the physical evidence. The case remained officially unsolved for generations. In recent years, scientists revisited the case with modern methods. A 2019 investigation proposed a rare slab avalanche as the trigger. This type of avalanche can occur on gentle slopes without obvious warning. It could explain the sudden panic and the severe internal injuries. Critics note the snow damage pattern still leaves gaps unexplained. No single theory has satisfied every investigator or family member. The mountain, it seems, keeps some of its answers to itself. All 9 hikers were eventually returned to their home city for burial. Their families carried the weight of unanswered questions for life. Some relatives fought for decades to reopen the official investigation. Letters and diaries left behind became treasured, painful keepsakes. Yudin, the 10th member who turned back, lived with survivor's guilt. He often said losing his friends was harder than any climb. The human loss remained the true center of the story. Local Mansi people had long avoided that mountain's slopes. Their name for it, Dead Mountain, existed before the tragedy. Some saw the incident as tragic confirmation of old warnings. Others viewed it purely as a devastating natural accident. Either way, the mountain earned a permanent, somber reputation. Hikers today still visit the pass to pay their respects. The silence of that slope holds memories few can fully explain. In recent decades, researchers have returned to the pass repeatedly. They bring modern instruments to measure snow, wind, and terrain. Drone footage and satellite data offer new angles on old evidence. Forensic experts re-examine old photographs with digital enhancement. Each expedition adds detail, but rarely a complete answer. The case has become a benchmark in unresolved wilderness mysteries. Even skeptics admit the full truth may never surface. Documentary crews from multiple countries have retraced the hikers' route. They interview surviving relatives, historians, and former investigators. Russian authorities reopened a limited review of the case in 2019. The renewed investigation focused mainly on the avalanche theory. Officials confirmed no criminal or violent act was involved. For many families, this offered partial but not complete closure. The events of that February night remain deeply debated. Today, the pass is officially named after Igor Dyatlov, the group's leader. It stands as a memorial to 9 lives lost far too soon. The case remains one of the most studied wilderness mysteries in history. Books, documentaries, and scientific papers continue to explore it. Each generation brings new tools, but the same haunting questions. Why did they cut the tent and run into the freezing dark? That single choice defines the mystery even now. Whether caused by nature, panic, or forces still misunderstood, the story endures because it resists easy explanation. The hikers were skilled, prepared, and experienced in survival. Something on that mountain overcame all of their training. 60 years later, their photographs still show ordinary young people, smiling, joking, unaware of what the mountain held in store. The Dyatlov Pass incident remains a true, unresolved chapter of history.